Excuse me, sir. Would you like another hot take?
Yeah, definitely. Keep them coming.
How is it going, everyone? Let's jump into this week's hot takes. First up, LeBron James. He will not be a Laker next season, and it's not just because of his son, Bronny. The team just really doesn't have the players it needs, and at this point, LeBron's all about legacy and playing with his son. So, one, I think everyone thinks wherever his son is going to land, that's where he'll play. But I also think he'll try to manipulate his son to be on a team that has a chance. Maybe something like the Dallas Mavericks. I can definitely see LeBron taking a huge pay cut just so he can be with his son and have that legacy win where it's him and his son winning a championship. So that's what I think for LeBron James is that he will not be a Laker next season. And I really can't even begin to guess where he might be. Next, the Yankees. Great opening to the season. You know, they did what they wanted to, which was just have capable starting pitching and their offense coming through. But with how fragile that whole team is, with the way that starting pitching rotation is, Cole, I hope he doesn't have to have Tommy John surgery, but you just never know. And the whole team, it's just basically super fragile. I think the Yankees will trade for an ace before August. I don't even begin to know who they will look at and really target, but I definitely can see the Yankees making sure they pull out all the stops so that they do not lose Juan Soto because he is looking like a great fit for the Yankees.
All right, here's my hot takes for this week. We saw Tiger Woods getting some practice rounds in back in Augusta. I think he is back to win the Masters. Yeah, it's a long shot. Yes, we've been waiting years and years and it hasn't happened for him to win another major, but I think this is the one. He seems locked in, dialed in. He's going to give it a go and he's going to win it. For my other hot take this week, the Atlanta Braves, they will be winning the World Series. It was a rough ending for them last year. Well, last 2 years they were a 100-win team. Phillies knocking them out. And this year, I feel like they get over the hump. They played the Phillies in the opening series. They sent a message in those first 2 games. And yeah, lock in. Atlanta Braves, your World Series champions. Take it away, Jacob.
Thank you, Jordan. And here's my hot takes for the week. The Yankees are for real. Pitching might still be a weakness for this team, but man, can this lineup hit. They just swept the Astros, and they looked incredible on the run behind Juan Soto, who started off the season very hot. He has a 600 on-base percentage, a key defensive assist, and a clutch hit to win games for the Yankees already this season. This lineup is fierce, and I think the Yankees are serious contenders in their division and in the AL, and they have a good chance of bringing home number 28 this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. could fall to the Chargers at pick number 5. This would be a great landing spot for Harrison. I think it would be a perfect fit, and it would make his draft stock skyrocket in Dynasty leagues. It's already sky high, but it would be even higher. Imagine if this guy gets to play with Justin Herbert. So something to keep in mind as a result of this is go get Justin Herbert. If you can get him for cheaper, his stock might be a little lower now that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are gone. So go get Justin Herbert in your Dynasty leagues if you can.
My hot take of the week is that Rashee Rice is done for. It's clear that he was involved in this accident. If he wasn't, he would have already turned himself in immediately. And luckily no one was hurt seriously. But just, you're done. You're done for. There's a wide range of outcomes that this type of off-the-field trouble has led to in the past, whether it be just a slap on the wrist or being suspended or banned. And I'm sorry, but Rashee Rice is done for. That's my hot take. He's done. He's never going to play in the NFL again. Sorry. Hot take. Why'd you have to do that, Rashee? It's really sad to see. Really sad. Rashee.
This week's pros and cons segment, we are highlighting Aaron Jones. And the pros are he is a professional football player. No, but on a more serious note, last season he showed his explosive playmaking ability when healthy in weeks 15 through the playoffs when he averaged 21.6 touches and 120.3 total yards per game, making him a weekly stud. He joins the Minnesota offense with an insane receiving corps that should open up the run game for him. Roster him.
Those are some great points, Jordan. You almost had me fooled into thinking Aaron Jones was going to be a good fantasy pick this year. But let's get down to the brass tacks. And these are the facts surrounding Aaron Jones being traded to the Minnesota Vikings. Fact number 1, Aaron Jones is 29 years old and entering his 8th season in the league. Fact number 2, Aaron Jones has only played 2 fully healthy seasons. That's right, Aaron Jones misses somewhere between 2 to 6 weeks almost every year. Good luck spending an early round pick on a guy that's only going to be available half the time for you. And finally, fact number 3, rather fact check number 3. I challenge anyone watching this to name an 8th year running back that got traded to a division rival that went on to be a fantasy success that year. I will wait. I will wait for eternity because you will not find that list that doesn't exist. These are the reasons why you should avoid Aaron Jones in 2024.
These are my top 5 wide receiver prospects for Dynasty rookie drafts. At number 1, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's going to land in a situation where he's going to have great quarterback play, either with Kyler Murray in Arizona or Justin Herbert in the LA Chargers. I think that means he's going to do very well in fantasy this season. I think anything short of a wide receiver 20 or higher campaign would be bad for his rookie year. I think he'll put up about 1,000 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns, and it would be disappointing if it was less than that. And that just showcases how good he is. At number 2, I have Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to end up in a situation where he's going to be the top dog in his rookie season, either with the New York Giants or the LA Chargers. I think he is a very good fit in a Brian Daboll offense, but the only downside there is Daniel Jones going to be up to par? Will he be able to put up big numbers that will help Neighbors get those stats that are required? And is there going to be turmoil at the QB position in New York? It's yet to be seen, but he's still my number 2 for now. At number 3, I have Rome Odunze. I think in a normal year, he would be the top guy on this list by a mile. He's that good, and that just shows how great this receiving class is. This guy is going to be a steal in a lot of dynasty leagues, and he should be an immediate impact player at the next level. He has good height and speed and route running ability. And if he ends up with Chicago or the Jets, he's going to be a problem. At number 4, I have Brian Thomas Jr. He's an incredible athlete who has great size as well. He should end up going to a team that likely will be good, as he will likely be a late first-round pick. And his draft stock could skyrocket if he ends up with the Chiefs. I think he's going to be an immediate contributor also, and one of those guys maybe down the second half of next season that could be a league winner. And at number 5, I have Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. He has great height, speed, and physicality, and he knows how to get open and should be a contributor from day one. He has great hands as well, and I think he will be a solid piece that you can build around in Dynasty. This is a poker hand I played at Shuffle 512 in Austin, Texas. In this hand, I had King Queen offsuit, and I raised an early position to $15, and only the big blind made the call. The flop came King 4-7 with 2 clubs, and I bet half pot for $15, and he ripped it all in for $125. Usually when people do this with short stacks, they're weighted towards draws because they're ready to gamble it up to try and get their stack back. Also, they can have weaker top pair type of hands in this situation. So knowing that we are crushing his range here, I have nothing to do but call. I know that we probably need to fade a club in order to scoop this pot, and we do fade the club and take this pot down. This is another hand I played in the same session. In this hand, the MP raised to $15 and the hijack calls. I'm in the cutoff with Ace King offsuit, and I make it $75 to go, and only the MP calls, so we go heads up to a flop that comes King, Queen, Deuce, Rainbow. This is definitely a good board for us, as we will have all the strong hands on this board, and he won't have any sets here except for pocket 2s. So knowing that I should be ahead almost all the time, I go ahead and bet here for $50, looking to get called by weaker kings, all straight draws, and any pocket pair that he might have. And he does elect to call and continue. The turn comes a 3 of hearts, which brings in a heart draw. And at this point, my opponent only has about 140 left in his stack. So I don't think we have any other sizing here than all in. So when he checks to me, I am all in, and praying that he has a hand like King Jack, Jack 10, Ace-X of hearts, all those hands I think can make the call here, but he must have had something weaker than that because he ends up folding.
Okay, let's get into a hand. We are playing 1-2 at Windstar. Limps to me, and I'm on the button, and I look down at pocket twos. I make it $14 to thin the field, and the middle position, who's a very aggressive player I played a lot, calls, and the hijack calls. We go to a flop. Ace of diamonds, four diamonds, eight of hearts. It checks to me now, and I see bet for 28 because the ace should be in my range, and the middle position calls. I'm kind of thinking the diamond draw, and the hijack folds. The turn is the 10 of spades. Middle position now leads for 50. And again, I put him on diamond draw, so I make the call. I just did not believe him. I've seen him push whenever he has nut draws. The river is a six of hearts. Middle position now goes all in for 90. And I say, I think you missed your draw. I do call. He mucks and says I'm good. So we take it down. I'm pretty sure he had a hand there like king three of diamonds because then he's drawing to the nut flush draw. He also had some blockers for, straight with the three. And that's where when you played a player before and you pick up on their patterns, it's really important to pay attention to that because this was probably the third or fourth time where I've seen him where he'll try to pick up the aggression and really try to put it to you whenever he has the nut draw and even when he misses. So just keep that in mind when you're playing a player to really pay attention to the actions that they do. Next hand, we are still playing 1-2 at Windstar. Iron Gun makes it $10. They were a pretty tight and conservative player, but a few people call, and I look down at 3-4 clubs in the cutoff. So I make the call, and we go five ways to the flop. The flop is the queen of clubs, the nine of hearts, and the three of hearts. It checks to me, and I check and flow because a lot of people at this table will check raise. So I check, and we go to a turn. The turn is the four of diamonds. The under gun now leads for 45. It folds to me. I'm not quite sure if I have the best hand, so I just flat. The river comes the three of spades. We are loving it. And the iron gun now bets $100. And we go in for 178 and they snap call and show ace queen of diamonds. We show our boat and we scoop. They're a little annoyed and what kind of, it checked into me into two pair and then the boat. And that's ultimately where slow playing, especially when you don't just have a super nutted hand, I never recommend it. If you have top pair, even top like that, you're better off c betting and just taking down what's in the pot because then you really don't know what you're trying to avoid and dodge. I probably would have folded it, and so that's kind of my advice: is whenever you flop a hand like theirs, just go ahead and bet, take down the pot, and move on.
Welcome to Miller Time. I'm Kevin Miller with The Degenerate Gambling Life, and on today's episode, I am going to be discussing 5 players you should be looking to buy in Dynasty before the NFL draft, and I'll go over their relative price tag. At number 5, LA Rams receiver Puka Nacua entering year 2, and yes, you're probably wondering why is he on this list? Well, a year ago, he wasn't on any list, not a top 250, not a top 400, not a top, he was barely being drafted inside the top 40 to 50 rookies, let alone. So his value has obviously risen, but has it risen to where it should be? I don't know. That depends on your league. If you could get Puka Nacua for a single first-round pick or multiple second-round picks, I'd slam that in a heartbeat. Coming in at number 4, running back Josh Jacobs, now on the Green Bay Packers. I do think he's going to be a healthier, more souped-up version of Aaron Jones. Yes, he may not catch as many passes, but I do think the Packers will lean on Josh Jacobs in the running game, and he will be getting 20-plus touches a week. I think his price tag is going to be good. I'd be willing to pay a first-round pick for Josh Jacobs. Number 3, wide receiver George Pickens on the Pittsburgh Steelers. As of right now, their number 2 and 3 receivers on the depth chart are Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin. I don't think even if they went out and drafted any receiver that George Pickens would be in any danger. I think he's their clear number 1. They traded away Deontay because they wanted to show him this. and I'd be willing to spend a first-round pick on George Pickens. At number 2, quarterback Trevor Lawrence makes this list. I feel like a lot of people are down on him right now. He just lost Calvin Ridley, so as of right now, he's just back with those same weapons that he had 2 years ago in Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, where he did finish QB8, might I add. But I think his perceived value is low right now. If you can get him for less than a first-round pick, let's say 2 2s or something like that, I would try to gobble up Trevor Lawrence right now. And the number 1 player I'd be looking to buy in Dynasty right now, today, no questions asked. Who is it? That's right, you guessed it. It's tight end Kyle Pitts on the Atlanta Falcons. With his freshly inked quarterback Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts is set to flourish over the next few years. He's entering that year 4 for the tight end, which is prime breakout territory. Now, I don't think we need to see a breakout. We already saw it. We just need to see a revitalization of him going back to what he did in year 1. He's going to get the targets that he got. He's going to be very successful this year, and I'd lock him in as a top 5 tight end in 2024. What would I pay for him? I'd pay a first-round pick in a heartbeat. I'd probably pay a 1 and a 2 if I had to get this done. So look to acquire Kyle Pitts for as cheap as you can in your Dynasty League. These are my tips. Let me know if you guys think I missed the boat on anyone or if I left anyone out of this conversation. Obviously, anyone is a good buy depending on the price point, but just keep in mind that a lot of incoming running backs and receivers are going to get added to teams that are going to cloudy the depth charts, so be careful buying this time of the year. These are my tips. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Kevin Miller, and I'm out.
Soccer hooligans.
Welcome back to another edition of the Added Minutes with your boy Jordan Tennis. And we got a Wrexham watch for you guys. I know it's been a minute since we had a Wrexham watch, so here we got cooked up for you. Wrexham had a huge match this past weekend against second place Mansfield Town. Now Wrexham was sitting in third place, 3 points behind Mansfield Town, so this was a huge match for them, and they got it done. Mullins providing 2 goals in the 2-0 win. Wrexham is now tied on points with Mansfield Town, still technically in third, but they do move up points away from MK Dons, who is in 4th place, and Wrexham also has 2 games in hand on MK Dons. The top 3 in the league gain automatic promotion, where 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th will do a playoff to see who gets the 4th and final promotion spot up to the next league. So, promotion spots looking pretty for Wrexham. Over to the Bundesliga, where Leverkusen has extended their unbeaten streak to 39 games, but that was not without drama. Leverkusen was absolutely dominant in the first half, but Hoffenheim would see the opening goal in the 33rd minute on a slick give-and-go play, got in behind the defense, and they would shoot. Goalie got a hand to it, but did not do enough to keep it out. Hoffenheim goes up 1-0. Leverkusen would leave this one super late. We'd have to wait all the way until the 88th minute when, off of a nicely worked corner play, where they took a short corner, sent one into the far post. It was headed back across goal, about right around penalty area, where Robert Andrich came and struck it home. The stadium went nuts because, like I said, they're on a 38 game win streak at that point, and things were looking bleak. But the stadium goes into an even bigger frenzy when Patrick Schick in the 91st minute got on the end of a cross to find the winner. Leverkusen win the game 2-1, and they extend their lead in the Bundesliga to 13 points over Bayern Munich. Elsewhere in Europe, Serie A is led by Inter Milan by 11 points over Inter Milan. It's a little closer in La Liga, where Real Madrid is leading Barcelona by 8 points. And the Premier League is where we have a 3-horse race. We have Liverpool on 67 points, Arsenal on 65 points, and Man City on 64 points. Let us know who you guys think is going to win that Premier League 3-horse race. Can't wait to read the comments. Hope you guys have a good week and take it easy.
Okay, now on to our fantasy sports. First up, we have fantasy basketball, and it is championship week. Hopefully, your team is in the championship. Two of my three teams made it. The team that beat me in the one league, they just destroyed me a whole season. I'm even pretty sure they manipulated their standings so they could play me in the semis, but they just crushed it. So my hat's off to that team. But I am into championships. So now let's go ahead and jump into some fantasy baseball. Shout out to the DGL League. Great first week. I'm expecting a great season. I lost my first week, but we will get on the waiver wire and do better. So, two players for you to look at getting on the waiver wire. First, Brady Singer. He is a pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. He's available on 85% of the leagues. He is a post hype sleeper. Last year, he went pretty early. I want to say the mid rounds, probably let's call it 10. But a lot of hype on him because of the way he finished the year before. He's a first round pick. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with going back to a well after someone had a bad season, especially if they're a first round pick and they flashed before. His first start, he pitched 7 innings. He had 10 Ks and his whip was .57. So if you're needing a starting pitcher, look at Brady Singer. Next, Jason Foley, Detroit Tigers relief pitcher. He's available in 52% of leagues, and he looks like he's their closer. He started really strong last year for Arizona, then he started to fade. So far, he has 2 saves. He's has more than a K per 9, and he has 0 earned run, and his whip is 0. So he's someone to add. Just be very careful for when the wheels start to fall off. Those are your fantasy baseball waiver wire ads. All right, finally, a couple of quick announcements. Reminder, this coming weekend we'll be in Shreveport, April 5th through the 7th. We're having a meetup game at the Horseshoe Casino at 1 p.m. Come up, say hi. We'll be giving away some merch. We'll talk fantasy, any sort of sports you like. Just come up to us and have a good time. Also, if you'll check the comments below, we'll be launching our DGL website. So if there's some merchandise that you like or anything, you'll be able to purchase that. And if you haven't yet, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you to all those that made it to the end of the video.